What's up, Fight Bananas fam? We are back for the Peel Back. It is your host, Maddie Levine, and as always, thank you so much for joining in. You are joining me in my backyard today with my hubby. The guest is Turbo Ross Levine.
Everybody keeps messing that up.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, you're right. And now I'm messing it up.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's Ross Turbo Levine.
It's the nickname in the middle. It's like a sandwich.
Well, thanks for letting me bother you today.
No problem. What's up?
And as always, thank you for joining the Peel Back. Make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that good stuff. I'm excited to talk about some life updates that you got going on. A lot of things in the works going on that a lot of people should get excited about, especially if you're in the New England area or you're willing to travel. Some really exciting things are coming your way. But first things first, last Saturday, Karate Combat, the promotion you fight for, had a very electric show in the Dominican Republic.
A lot of knockouts.
Turbo was not on the card, but that's a story for a different day.
We tried, not for lack of time.
Oh my God. I have never seen a fighter, and I understand that, you know, I'm a little close to this project. I've never seen a fighter try so hard to get a fight and just can't get one.
You know, and I don't even think it's not that they don't want me to fight.
No.
So you got a lot of people saying no.
Which is unreal. But
it's a compliment. Although it's frustrating, it's flattering to know that people are like, nah, that's not the fight I want. But hey, what are you gonna do? I'll just keep getting better.
Yeah.
So
it's not like you're not training.
Right.
Your initial thoughts on Karate Combat, Dominican Republic?
You know, from a visual perspective, it looked awesome. Like they were in the biggest amphitheater in the DR. I mean, all of the biggest Latina stars were there, not there, but have performed there. Like Bad Bunny, like performed in this amphitheater like crazy. The fans, there were a lot of fans there. The card was dope, like a lot of knockouts, a lot of competitive fights. The title changed hands. So yeah, from a viewer's perspective, a fan's perspective, it was sick. I don't know if I want to fight in an outdoor venue. I think like my initial like visceral reaction is that like fighting is chaotic enough.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many of you guys have fought or witnessed an outdoor card, but you know, to have to worry about the fight is enough craziness. Then to have to worry about things that you can't control, because everyone will tell you, oh, like, well, you can't control it, so don't worry about it. How do you not worry about the weather? Is it going to be hot, cold? Is it going to rain? Is the mat going to be slippery? Is there going to be a bug that lands on me? Is it going to be windy, humid? Like, there's just so many things that can happen in an outdoor show that I can't control. To me, it's like, I'd rather fight in an indoor venue where I know it's all nice and equal.
Because when it's in an indoor venue, it's a fixed thing. It's, you know, the surroundings, you know, the habitat, you know, no outside influences are going to affect it.
Yeah.
And we were following pretty intently all of the social media content, and we saw the rain, we saw the heavy downpour that morning. And I can only imagine the stress it must put not only on the fighters, but the production and the team and just the whole thing. And so to me, I don't understand the headache of trying to do an outdoor venue, especially in hurricane season in the DR. Like, a lot of it just didn't make sense to me. But I will say that the final product did look pretty phenomenal when it was finally put together.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like, was it probably a headache? I would imagine so. Like, I would bet it was crazy, and, you know, maybe they didn't know how they were going to do, but looking back on it, you know, hindsight always being 20/20, if they can do that, like if Karate Combat can do that, what else are they capable of? You know what I mean? Like, worst possible situation, hurricane season in the Caribbean, like literally a hurricane just missed like the week before. That could have been a totally different conversation. So if they can do that, man, Karate Combat, like the potential is endless. So I'm excited for the future. You know, I hope it's never that hectic for them. But again, final product was sick. So what are you gonna do?
I couldn't help but notice your name getting thrown around a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Alvey, UFC vet, well-known fighter, has decided to politely call you out. I will give him that. He gives you your flowers. He talks you up a lot. But what are your thoughts? Before we dive into Sam Alvey, what are your thoughts on a fighter calling you out? Do you find it disrespectful, or do you find it flattering?
I would say neither.
And the reason, I don't mean to cut you off, but the reason I voice it that way is, if somebody's calling me out, I take that as you think you can beat me. So a call out, do you consider that flattering or disrespectful?
Yeah, I don't really take it one way or another. I just look at it as opportunity, especially at this stage. I mean, you know what I've been going through with trying to get fights, and you know, I would love for people to call me out and then act on it. You know, it's one thing to say my name. People have been saying my name for a while, unfortunately, but then nobody acts on it. Yeah. You know, so you know, at least Sam, if we're going back to Sam, at least he genuinely seems like he wants that fight, which is great. I mean, Sam is a dangerous fighter. You saw what he did at KC41. I mean, I don't care what you say about, oh, he's older, or he's got, you know, the biggest losing streak in the UFC. Like all of that aside, the guy's got dynamite in his hands, you know, and he can still knock people out. So, you know, stuff like that excites me. So I don't think it's disrespectful at all. I love the fact that my name is popping up in people's mouths. The more people say my name, the better it is for me. So, you know what? Keep calling me out, but somebody please sign a contract. That would be nice too. Because it wasn't just Sam, right? It was Sam Alvey. It was Antonio Arroyo, who I would, again, also love to fight that guy. He was an 85er in the UFC. Freaking Anthony, Pretty Boy, whatever his name is, influencer, calling me out, telling me he's going to knock me out. Like, whatever, buddy. You know, whatever. It's cool. Yeah. It's fine. Like, everyone, call me out, but everyone,
just
sign the contract.
on the dotted line and then we'll talk about it.
Let's get me back in there.
A lot of chit-chat, but no action just yet.
I think Sam is down. I think that's cool.
I think it's too, and it seems like Karate Combat is kind of pushing that one.
We'll see.
And I know you're kind of in the position where you just want somebody to say yes. So I don't even want to ask you who you would actually want, because it sounds like you want whoever says yes first.
Pretty much, yeah. Whoever's going to be ready the quickest. I mean, the good thing is both of those guys both came off of knockouts, didn't seem to take a lot of damage. So, I mean, I think December is a good time for me to maybe get back out there, and whichever one of them would like to do that at 185, at 205, I don't care.
Listen, I know you want to fight. December is like a lot of holidays.
Well, I wouldn't be on Christmas. I'd get Christmas after. You would get me for Christmas for once. You didn't get me last year for Christmas.
I don't think I would. You'd be dieting.
No, not if I fought in December. If I fought December 15th.
All right, yeah, that's fair. You know? All right.
So, all right. We'll see.
Adam, put it before Christmas, okay?
Yeah, not like January 2nd.
Let's not do that.
I'll do it, but, you know, I'll do anything. I'll do anything.
Because you need what do you like? You like apple pie?
I like apple pie. I like it all. It's all good.
Well, that's exciting. Hopefully we get a phone call soon. That way you can like really start dialing into...
And I also love that Karate Combat has started branching out and bringing in other fighters that already have some established names, because it's hard. I think it was hard for the viewers to get behind Karate Combat when there was a lot of people that, if you weren't in the martial arts scene, you didn't know who these guys were. Like, yeah, you talk to a karate guy and you say Rafael Gaev and everyone's like, oh my God, like this is the craziest thing. But to the casual fan, it's like, who the hell is this guy? Now, it turns out he's very likable because of his style. It's so exciting, but you know, it was hard to get behind. So now you got guys like Sam Alvey, where whether you want to get on him because of his, you know, his past, whatever, but he's still a name that's recognized. You know, he's got a long tenure. Same thing with Antonio Arroyo, like, and myself, Raymond Daniels. Like, you got all these names now that are being thrown in the mix, and I think it's only going to continue to make it grow and have more appeal for Karate Combat. So I like it.
Yeah, and it's nice to see a lot more outlets reporting about Karate Combat and just getting the word out, because I mean, one of their champs is an absolute stud. So, but not only the fighting game, you got some really cool stuff coming up, and I know personally you've been wanting to do this for a very long time. You're doing a camp.
Training camp.
So, just tell me why you wanted to do something like this. It's going to be a 2-day. Do you call it a mini camp? Because it's kind of big.
I'm calling it a mini camp.
Okay,
That's my humble brag. It's a mini camp.
This is a pretty big
well,
camp.
You think about camp as like weeks at a time.
Okay,
so it's
but
a mini camp.
All
it's
right,
a weekend.
we digress. 2 days at Lozon MMA. Shout out to Joe Lozon for letting us use his gym in Raynham. This is going to be incredible. What made you want to do a camp, first of all?
So throughout my martial arts career, like as a sport karate competitor, I've taught hundreds of seminars, and I love teaching. I've been a martial arts instructor. I really enjoy the education side, the teaching side, and even like coaching now. Like I love my students bringing up, competing, and helping them be the best they can be. It's a team effort. So I love coaching. I love teaching. I've always done that. I've done group seminars where myself and my coach Jody Tension, who's also going to be teaching at the mini camp, we've taught together for years the TCK system, but I've also been a part of several mini camps or training camps like this on the sport karate side of things, where we'd have like 3-4 days. A lot of times it'd be over Thanksgiving or Christmas break, between Christmas and New Year, stuff like that, where there'd be like 5 or 6 instructors, and there would be several training sessions throughout the day, and you just get a crazy amount of like leveling up. And I was like, man, I would love this for like kickboxing, like striking, like the other stuff, because you just don't see it, right? I think the closest thing to what we're doing in October is the CSA Coaches Camp, where CSA out in California, they bring out usually 3 or 4, sometimes more coaches a year. I actually don't know if they did it last year or if they've done it since COVID, but they usually bring out some big names in the striking world and do these seminars. And now you're seeing like the Yokkao groups, they're going out and doing like these traveling seminar tours. But it was just something that I was like, man, number one, I'd always love to be a part of it. And then with my company doing well and my business doing well, I was like, you know what? I think I could really leverage this and make something great happen. So I just reached out to the people who I trust the most, who have gotten me to where I'm at, and we made it happen. I can't believe we found a date that it works for everybody.
I know.
But October 14th, 15th. Again, thanks to Joe Lozon for letting us use his awesome space, his new space. If you haven't been to the Lozon MMA in Raynham, check it out. But it's myself. It's one of my striking coaches, Jake Manini. You guys have probably seen him in the corner of Calvin Cater, Rob Font.
Yeah, we're gonna I want to dive into each coach that you're bringing in, because they all deserve their own little spotlight now.
Where do you want to start?
So I just want to start by saying, if you're an MMA fan or just a striking fan in general, you might recognize some of these names. If you're a karate background, if you're a karate person, you're going to recognize some of these names. But what I love most about this camp is all 4 coaches, Ross included, are going to offer a different style. So there's 4 opportunities to learn from 4 different coaches, and they are not going to overlap. I don't see them overlapping a second. So
if anything, I think we're just going to mesh.
So let's start with Jake Manini. Absolute stud on the New England circuit. I'm pretty sure anybody who's ever strapped on a pair of gloves and got into the cage or ring has trained with Jake Manini.
Or competed against them with Hard Knocks.
Competed against them,
they've been probably, I would argue, the top Muay Thai school in the Northeast for the last decade. Since we've been competing here in the Northeast, they've been a staple in the community.
Any idea what he's going to bring to the table?
I think Jake is such a cool guy and such a great coach, because he's coached Muay Thai, he's competed Muay Thai, but he also coaches striking for MMA. So he understands how to bridge the gap from the Muay Thai realm to the MMA realm and be successful. Like I mentioned before, Calvin Cater, Rob Font, Connor Matthews. I mean, the list goes on and on with some of the studs that he's coaching and cornering, and myself included. So you see, he has experienced fighters in Muay Thai and kickboxing, in MMA, and now also myself with karate combat. So he knows all of it and studies constantly. He's just such a whiz when it comes to that.
His fight IQ is incredible. So I think that one's going to be very powerful.
Yeah.
Then you got Jody Tension. Now, I know some MMA fans might not be familiar with the name. Get familiar. This man is on another level.
Yeah.
And I've only been exposed to him a few times.
It's probably better off that way. Jody, what's cool about Jody is the unknown in this scenario, which is crazy to me, because from the sport karate side, Jody's a legend. I mean, for years, the super fighter. I mean, he beat everyone, won every tournament. Like, at one point in his career, he took like 4 years off to develop his school and build what is now one of the more successful schools in the tri-state area, if not the East Coast. But, I mean, if it wasn't for that, we'd be talking about Jody being the greatest ever, you know? And like, what an incredible instructor this guy is. If you've been around me and you've seen the way I teach and the way I move, if you've sparred with me before and you're like, man, this guy moves so well, he's hard to hit, he cuts angles, he fakes. Jody is that times 1,000. Like, he's been teaching way longer than me. He's older than me. He's grayer than me, which is all surprising, but...
settle down.
I know, I just get... Any place I can just get a little dig on my man Jody, I'll do it. But like, you guys are gonna be blown away by him, and that's so funny to me that he's like the unknown.
Yeah. But I think he's gonna be the dark horse in a sense of the people that do come to this seminar. They're probably gonna be talking about Jody Tension.
Oh, for sure.
And what he brings to the table. So that's gonna be incredible.
And I love that I get the opportunity now to expose him to the full contact world and let people kind of recognize, like, oh man, we got this guy here who's, I don't know why no one's ever utilized him, because that's what he did for me in the sport karate world. So I'm happy to give back.
You will also be one of the coaches as well.
Correct.
So that's going to be phenomenal. I know firsthand how skillful you are and how talented you are. My striking has just gone tenfold since you've come into my life, and that's the reason I married you. Just kidding. It was just like a cool little bonus that you were really good at fighting. No, but seriously, I'm really excited to see you in your element. What do you think you're going to bring to this seminar? What do you want to focus on?
So, yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get a feel for what Jake and our fourth coach, who we'll talk about, Bazooka Joe, in just a second, what they bring to the table on the first day. You know, honestly, I really don't have a plan as far as like what I'm going to do yet. A lot of times, number one, I like to read the room, because it would be terrible to go in with a plan and say, oh, I want to do all these things. And like, it's easy for a coach and competitor to kind of get ahead of themselves. And then you read the room and maybe there's going to be more beginners, or, you know, maybe what I'm doing is going to be too advanced, or it's just not going to click with those participants. So, you know, we're going to read the room and see what the first day looks like. Jody and I are going to teach on the second day, so I'm going to close the show out. So yeah, I think I don't really have a game plan just yet, but I know it's going to be dope, and I'm going to bring my style to it. You know, I think I do things very differently than a lot of fighters, and that's what's helped me be successful. So I'm just going to bring a little bit of my best weapon, which is my brain, bring that to the table and let people in on how I think and how I break things down as it happens, and that's going to be super valuable for people. There is no one strike or one technique that's going to help you get to the next level, right? A kick is a kick, a punch is a punch, but the concepts are key, and that's what you're going to get from me.
And that fourth coach, one of the best strikers to ever do it, Joe Valtellini.
Bazooka Joe.
The GOAT. If you follow Glory Kickboxing, you'll recognize that name. If you're a lover of martial arts, you know the name. I think it's so fantastic that he's coming down to do this.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what he's going to bring.
Probably some low kicks.
Probably the low kicks.
Probably some low kicks.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll never forgive myself for the first time I met Joe Valtellini.
Knee to the groin.
We took a really cool trip to Canada to go check out his gym and train with him, and Ross was kind enough to bring me along, and we were doing some warm-up rounds, and I was sparring Joe. Little me sparring Joe, and I got a little excited. I went to go knee him, and I kneed his penis. Just kneed it. Just kneed it. Boom. Just kneed it real hard. So hard, in fact, that he ran away for a hot second.
Took some rounds off.
Took some rounds off. And if I could have died on the spot, I would have literally died.
You know,
I have never been more mortified in my life. Like, I was sparring Joe Valtellini, and I kicked him in the dick. Like,
happens. It wouldn't be the first time, and I'm sure it wasn't the last time. But you know, when you travel somewhere,
it's fine. Everything's fine.
You want to put your best foot forward.
Yeah, and I clearly did not. So anyway, I'm gonna have to
her
redeem
best
myself.
knee though.
I'm gonna have to redeem myself.
But yeah,
but no, I'm excited.
Well, I mean, let's talk about Joe for a minute and give him his flowers. I mean, I pride myself on seeing through people's bullshit. I'm a pretty good judge of character. When I first met Joe after my Glory debut, he had mentioned like, man, my knockout was crazy and all that, but he was like, oh, you should come through and train. And I don't know how many people he's ever offered that to, but I told him on the spot, I was like, don't do that because I'm going to be there soon. And he was like, no, come. And I want to say a couple months later, I was up there and just super welcoming. But it was like immediate connection of recognizing this is one of the best martial artists on the planet. Not just, forget kickboxing, forget his accolades, his belt, like, just such a good martial artist, and just everything, we're like a clone of each other. We think very similarly, the same attitude, our upbringing was very similar, our competition ideals and just like motivation is very similar. So he's just a good dude and an even better coach, an even better martial artist. So I just can't wait to bring him and his style down here, because for as crazy as it is, I'm surprised he doesn't do as many seminars as, I mean, if I could bring the guy down every month, I would do it.
I know.
So I'm just pumped that he can come and, be a part of this. And he is definitely, in my opinion, he's the headliner. But yeah, it's going to be crazy.
So October 14th, October 15th, you do have an option to do both or one, correct?
Yep.
So,
I would highly recommend doing both.
So where can people sign up and find more information?
Yeah, super easy. I mean, I put a flyer up on my Instagram. That's all set. So go to @Ross_Turbo_Levine. Get all the info there. DM me if you have any questions on like details, hotel information, stuff like that. If you're traveling from out of town, definitely let me know. I can give you some good ideas. But as far as like payment goes to reserve your spot, Venmo is great. Venmo @RossLevine1. Super simple. Again, if you have any questions, DM me. We also have like a ton of really cool stuff that's not, like the camp is going to be sick in general.
Yeah, so you have like a lot of additions that are going on, which I find fantastic.
So we had a couple like really cool sponsors pop up. One of my original instructors, Maddie Levine, she owns a company called Female Fighters Matter Too. Now, what she does on the sport karate side is it is notorious, unfortunately, for tournament promoters to pay the women substantially less than the men. Like, it's not even close. Like, if sometimes there are events where the men are making like $1,500, $1,000, and women are making like $500. So what Maggie does is she comes in and she will sponsor the remainder to either equal the men's money, or sometimes she sponsors it to make more. And she's been absolutely crushing it and helping, women feel empowered to go and compete and be in the room. I think a lot of times, even in like MMA, kickboxing, you hear it all the time, like, it's not a very female-friendly sport, and it takes a lot for women to kind of overcome that. So one of the things that Maggie did is she told me, like, hey, I want to sponsor a bunch of female athletes to be at the seminar so that we can guarantee that women are getting on the mats, because the more women go, the more others will be like, ooh, I want to be a part of that too. So we're just really building such a great community here in the Northeast. We talked about Hard Knocks. They do a women's only sparring day, which is great for the community. So
I know there's a gym in New York that's doing it now as well.
Yeah. You see like Amy Duke doing that a lot too. So it's just really cool, a great opportunity that I had to bring that back and kind of pay that forward a little bit. So yeah, we have 6 fully sponsored female participants, which I'm super proud of. In the years to come, I hope to do more and more, and maybe even do a women's only camp with women's only instructors. Like, going to be sick. I have tons of ideas. I
did not give him this idea.
Yeah,
I just want to put that out there. Yeah. This is not the wife being like, you need to include women. This is all you. And I think this is so incredible. Maggie Messina is doing God's work, honestly.
And she's going to be there. And she's going to be there. She's going to do like a women's empowerment talk, which is super cool. I love all of that. We've also got Dylan Nadler coming down. So Dylan, if you guys have followed me before, Mindlock, he's the man. He's my mental performance coach. So he's going to come down. He works with a lot of the athletes that are going to be attending the seminar too. But he's going to be going over some basic skills in the beginning. Again, this is all completely included in the camp. So you guys are going to get a little chat from Dylan on both days to like open the camp and give yourself like a good mental kind of like force field to build your, absorb all these skills and put yourself in a good place.
When did you start working with Dylan? Was it 2020?
Dylan and I worked together for my karate combat career. I believe my second fight in karate combat.
So like 2020, 2021.
Yeah, it was during COVID.
And how would you say bringing in a mental health coach into your team has improved your overall fight game?
Huge. I mean, huge. It just allows me to focus on the things that are important and realize that a lot of the things that competitors will feel, we all feel the same stuff, and it's okay. Like, just having someone who has that perspective, who understands, mental health, mental performance, how important it is to be successful that way and to lock in, that's like the coined phrase. But, Dylan is also a combat athlete. He was world-class, captain of the Taekwondo Canadian national team. Like, the guy's been all over the world competing, so he knows what it's like. It's not just someone, sitting in a chair that's never done it before telling me what to do. He's been there, he's walked the walk and talked the talk, and I'm all about that when it comes to the people in my life. So my circle is small, but it's super tight, and October 14th and 15th, you're literally going to get every single piece that has made me successful, from Jody to Jake to Bazooka Joe to Dylan to Maggie. Like, these are my people. So people who love my career are going to love this camp.
And that's what I was going to add was, this is a world champion, and he's not even done. And he's already ready to basically unlock his little safe that he has of knowledge and power and give it to you. So I think this is going to be a powerhouse of a weekend. It's going to be so great. There's still some spots available.
Yeah, we're about halfway full.
So make sure you head over to Ross's Instagram if you want to learn more, maybe sign up. Again, shout out to Joe Lozon. Lozon MMA is going to be where it's being held. It's a nice central location for everybody to come.
Yeah. Last thing, it is for all levels. I've had a couple people ask me that too. Anybody will get a ton out of this, whether you're someone who's never competed before, doesn't want to compete. If you just like martial arts and like to train, this is going to be so much fun because you're getting world-class experience with people that really know how to convey the message and the teaching. You will 100% get better if you just want to like to train. This is an awesome opportunity to be around people who absolutely love the sport. If you're an amateur, if you're a professional, MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, karate combat, it's literally for anybody, any age. It doesn't matter. You're going to get a ton out of it. Be there. You're gonna regret being there when you guys see all of the other things. Yeah, you're going to regret not being there.
You're going to regret not being there.
Yeah. You're going to regret I didn't do it sooner.
Yeah. October 14th and 15th.
Yes.
It's going down. Thank you for joining me today, my love.
Thank you.
This was great. And as always, thank you so much for tuning into the Peel Back. Another great episode in the books. Stay tuned for next week. I got a killer guest for you.
Who?
I'm not telling you. See you later. See you next week.